In this Planet Zoo video, I am going to show you the top 5 most useful items to use for habitats. These building pieces and items I'm about to show you will definitely increase the appeal and the attractiveness of your habitats. I will also show you some of the key tips and tricks that you need to know. First up, we're going to look at probably one of the most obvious, and then we're going to work our way down to maybe the least obvious, or things what you might not have thought of yourself just of yet. So let's start off with mesh fencing. Now these are the basic mesh fences you get in Planet Zoo, and I see a lot of people underestimating them and not really using them. And I don't know why, because you can create stuff like this. Now these are habitat barrier fences. These act like the normal habitat fences do, but just look a hell of a lot better. And these are obviously used with the mesh pieces, as you can see in the centre. Remember, all you have to do is wrap a null barrier around your habitat and your animals will stay in. If you want a tutorial on null barriers and stuff like that, I've got one on my channel. And if you want smaller fences and smaller barriers, you can create them with mesh as well. See, even when you include the same mesh fences, you've got different themes. So you've got like a modern theme to the left, and all the way to the right you've got like a rustic rundown theme. The mesh fences are so versatile, and I'm hoping to see more and more people use them more and more often. And here's how they would come together. You see, I've created some mesh fencing here. Pretty much 80% of this habitat is actually mesh fencing. We've got the main hard shelter here, and we've got mesh fences going all around the outside, what will keep our cheetahs within this habitat. Another good thing about mesh fencing is they can be used for aviary style buildings like this one. This is a walkthrough bat exhibit, and it looks perfect with the mesh fences included. I'm sure you understand what I mean now by versatility when it comes to mesh. Next up, we've got grass. Now, I'm not just talking about any old foliage here, this is specifically grass. Obviously, you can go onto terrain and then go on grass short or long and add it like that, which is quite easy. But doing it by the actual nature tab here and typing in grass will make your habitat stand out a hell of a lot. These are some of my favourite pieces what I have on display here. I'll go through the names so you can actually see them if you want to use them. A lot of them are actually called buffalo grass, I think. So we've got big blue stem there. We've got big blue stem again, and we've got drin, I think. Yeah, that's right, drin grass, dry, large, and obviously there's different sizes. Now, mixing up these different kind of grass types for the different kind of habitats and combining them really do make a habitat stand out. I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. Here we have a sparse, empty looking habitat. Now, for the purposes of this video, I've taken pretty much all of the foliage and the rockwork out, because I wanted to demonstrate how much of a difference it actually makes, especially grass. You can see I've already started here placing 2 different kinds of grass overlapping each other to give it a more luscious and more realistic effect. So this is without foliage, and this is with foliage. As you can see, it makes a whole world of difference. By the way, to one of my previous points, you can see I've also used mesh fences here as well. But anyway, back to the grass thing. On this side, I've got a waterfall. Now, it's quite a basic waterfall, again with no foliage. You can see little bits around the structure here. Now let's add some. Again, how much of a difference does that make? Over near the bridge now, and remember, do not be scared to use as much as you can. Your animals will still roam quite freely and traverse over the grass. As you can see, I've used a hell of a lot here. Look how it overlaps and pokes out above the Faux Rocks. Which subsequently brings me on to my next point, and that is Faux Rocks. Now these Faux Rocks are absolutely brilliant. I use them, and I'm not joking or over exaggerating here, I use them in every single build, every single habitat I create. You will find Faux Rocks somewhere. Now there's a couple of things good about Faux Rocks, and I'll give you a couple of demonstrations. So obviously the texture is much different to the normal rock. As you can see, it's jagged, it's got creases, and you can recolor the outside and the cracks. Let's go on it and you will see 2 different colors here, cracks color and body color. Now you can have this color however you want. If you actually Google search Faux Rock colors in Planet Zoo, you will find all the colors of all the different biomes. So if I just go into rocks here, where are we? Nature, going to rocks, let's just turn my blueprints off. Now we've got desert rock, which is obviously a certain colour, and every one you will see is a different colour. Let's go to red desert. All of them are different colour. If you search in Faux Rocks colours, Planet Zoo, you will find each one of these colours. So you can naturally blend the Faux Rocks into the biome what you are building on. And my favourite part about Faux Rocks is these ones, number 7 and number 9. Now the reason for this is they are so versatile and they bring a habitat to life as well, just like the grass did. And I'll actually duplicate these and I'll show you right next to the grass here how I would do that. So all I have to do is lower this down. What you want to do, is make sure that align to surface is not on, because it'll just pop back up basically. You want to lower this down and left click. I think you understand what I mean now. If you've not done this kind of technique before, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and try it in your own habitats. And it's the same with the smaller ones as well. You can use these just like this, just poking out of the grass to give it a more natural and more realistic look. But that's not it. It can be used for so many other stuff. You can see a hell of a lot of Faux Rocks here, and I've broken up this barrier with them. So I've separated kind of like a, I've got obviously my custom glass barrier here. The path will be placed along here like so. I'll just show you how a path would be placed like that. And you can see I've separated the barrier for the animals to the path by using Faux Rocks, again with the grass pointing out of them and all the way around. And you can see at the side here I've actually created a whole wall along the outside of this habitat to give it a more natural kind of like backdrop look. You can see in this habitat here I've used them more to the extreme just to kind of give a different look about the habitat. These kind of look like stones / pebbles now because of sun come so down into the ground that it gives the effect that they do look like pebbles. And it really works well around water also because they look even more like pebbles, and you can kind of like make it look like, how do I say this, like a shoreline, like a beach, and underwater obviously you can see from here they also look amazing. Next we have got ropes. Again, another really versatile piece what you can use in your hard shelters, on your habitat gates, on your barriers, and inside of your habitats, especially on climbing frames. These can be used to give the impression that you can pull a door, open a door, pull a lever, anything you can pretty much use rope with. Back to the barrier set what I showed you earlier, and you can see I've used a rope on this one. And for this habitat I've used it on climbing frames, which is a really unique and useful way to use them. Maybe your animals can't actually use them, traverse over them, but it looks like they can, and I think it looks really good when building any sort of climbing frame within your habitats. By the way, any habitats you see in this video are my own, and if you want any, my Steam Workshop link will be in the description down below. But before you do that, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, and if you are enjoying this video or it's helping you in any sort of way, then please hit that like button. Here we have decals. Now there's different kinds of decals will have different effects. So you've got your basic kind of like wear and tear decals, what you would put on a surface of a building, and these are brilliant for adding character, adding realism, and making things just look better in my opinion. If you really want to go with realism, then this is the way forward. You need to be using these kind of stuff in your builds all the time if you want to stick to realism. And then we've got this kind of like moss. Yeah, that's what surface decal moss it's called. And this is brilliant for two ways. You can put this on paths. You can put this in cracks of buildings as well. Obviously, you're going to have moss on buildings and on paths. But it can be used in a very unique way, what I've actually discovered quite recently. And that's to change the colour of it to this. Bear with me, I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But let me show you some of these in action, these wear and tear ones. Here we have a recent sloth habitat I created, and as you can see on the wall we've got some decals. Let's take a closer look. Now how much character does that add just to that one wall? You can see I've got one at the bottom here. I'll just actually go into it. So we've got some here, we've got some at the top as you can see here. And it just adds character and just makes everything a little bit more realistic and a little bit more stand out. Now on to this, what we're going to use as dirt, and I'm going to do a little live demonstration. So obviously this is a normal path here. Now we have the ability now to create null paths. So let's select that, make it into a null path. Now we know I've got a path there, so our guest will walk over this path. This path can be on the outside of a habitat, or through like an indoor, or any kind of habitat, walk through or around the outside of a habitat, and you can just add dirt. You can add natural looking dirt like so, just like that. Then if you change the terrain to actual soil, you can see how it can build character. But this can also be used in other ways. I'll switch over to a recent habitat I created and I'll show you how. Okay, this could be one of my favorite habitats I ever created, but anyway, this is how I would use dirt. This is a habitat for one of the new animals out of the tropical pack, the hog, I think it's called. Red River Hog, that's it, Red River Hog. As you can see, all the points I've already gone over is on here. We've got these Faux Rocks and grass, but we've already gone over that. But yeah, we've got this dirt. Now, it gives the impression on this ramp, by the way, they can go up this ramp and they can go in here into the inside part, where we've also got some dirt here. But this dirt here gives the impression that it's fallen off the animal itself onto the platform what they use to get onto the inside of the hard shelter. Again, realism, and it's little details like this what make bigger builds stand out. And on the inside it's the same, leading up, so it looks like our zookeeper has dropped dirt or dropped feed, or the platform has got dirty, the steps have got dirty because they've been feeding the animal from the inside here. But this is one I've actually recently found myself. I've not actually used this a lot. This is one of the first habitats I used it on, and I'm happy with the results, and I'm definitely going to use this moss as dirt again in a lot of my habitats. And there we have it. We have the best 5 items that I use personally in pretty much every habitat I create. Hopefully me showing you these 5 items and the ways I use them will help you when creating your own habitats. If this video is going to help you, then hit that like button. If you're new around here, then you might as well subscribe for more Planet Zoo content. My name's Adam. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.